In today's lesson, we're going to learn how to graph a compound inequality. So a compound inequality is two separate inequalities joined by the word and or or. So let's look closely at an and. So this states x is greater than -2 and x is less than 1. So I want the values that are both bigger than -2 and smaller than 1. There's a second way to write an and that way is where you rank your values from least to greatest. Okay, so when I rank numbers from least to greatest, that would be like -2 is less than 4, which is less than 10. So I'm always using less than symbols when I rank from least to greatest. Let's apply that here. So what I do is I write my numbers, again, from least to greatest. So I'm -2, and I'm going to put 1 over here, and x is going to go in the middle. It's going to be between them. So here I have that x is less than 1, so I'm just going to bring this less than down right there to be x is less than 1 here. But in this scenario, x was the bigger thing. So I'm switching the side that x is on, so now I need to flip my symbol as well. So I can say -2 is less than x, and x is less than 1. So when I graph this, I put -2 and +1 on my number line, still using an open circle because it's not equal to, and where am I shading? Well, the values that are both bigger than -2 and smaller than -1 fit in the middle. I like this because this notation is showing x is in the middle. I shade in the middle as well. Please note that only ands are written in this way. Ors only have one way to write them. You must physically write the word or. So to graph an or, I just want both values on my number line, so I'm going to, again, put them in order from least to greatest, -1 and 0. And let's do this one here. X is greater than or equal to 0 would be a closed circle on 0, and I shade the values to the right. It's bigger. This one, x is less than -1. Those values are to the left, and I just made a small mistake. That should be an open circle to the left. So let's practice this. -2 is less than x, and x is less than 3. So this is an and. So I'm putting -2 and 3 on the number line. Both will get an open circle because there's no equal to, and I shade the region in the middle. Ors typically are shading out. Put your values from least to greatest on your number line. Let's do this part. X is greater than 4 would be an open circle to the right. This one here, x is less than or equal to 12 would be a closed circle, shade to the left. Let's do a more challenging part where you're given a statement in words. All real numbers that are greater than or equal to 5. This would be x is greater than or equal to 5. And, I'm going to write that out, less than 30. So it'd be x is less than 30. So here it is as an and, but I'm going to now put it in the notation where it has x in the middle. So I'm going to rank it from least to greatest. X is in the middle. I'm going to just bring this sign down to make it less than 30, but this symbol over here, x is switched sides, so I need to write 5 is less than or equal to x. This is the best way to write this statement. All right, the second one, number 4 here, all real numbers that are less than -1, start there. All real numbers that are less than -1, ors must physically have the word or written, greater than or equal to 15, so I rewrite the x, greater than or equal to 15. Okay, let's go into solving now. This is an and. It's a compound inequality. It means I have two inequalities in one. So I'm going to work this all at once, and my goal is to get x alone in the middle. So what am I going to do here? Well, I am going to look at the middle, and I need to get rid of this 5. That means I have to subtract it on the left and the right as well. 2 minus 5 is -3. I bring down my symbol, no need to flip my sign, and 9 minus 5 is 4. X is alone in the middle. This is an and, so it is finished, other than the graphing. So put my numbers from least to greatest, both open circles, and I shade the region in between. Remember that the shaded region represents everything the variable can be. In number 6, this is an or. Two separate inequalities. I can't work it at one time, so I'm going to do the two separately. I'm going to begin by subtracting 3. Gives me 2x is less than 6. Then I divide both sides by 2. I do not need to flip my symbol, and I get x is less than 3. I'm going to immediately write the word or so I don't forget about it. I'm going to work this second one. Add 6 to both sides. Gives me 3x is greater than 18. Divide by 3, and I get x is greater than 6. Let's bring this down. X is greater than 6. Here is my solution. Again, notice that I have this word or. It's very important that you don't drop this. So I'm going to put 3 and 6 on my number line. And what am I going to do? Open circle. X is less than 3 is to the left. X is greater than 6 is to the right. Let's try 7. Hopefully you recognize 7 as an and. I'm going to work both inequalities at once. My goal is to get x alone in the middle. So I will add 3, because I undo addition and subtraction first. So that means I have to add it on all 3 sides. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. I still have a negative x in the middle. Bringing down my symbols, it's less than or equal to 5. I hope you recognize that the coefficient on the x is negative 1, so I'm going to divide by negative 1, again on all 3 sides. Now when I divide by a negative, I have to flip my sign. That gives me x alone in the middle. Negative 2 divided by negative 1 is 2. Over here I have negative 5. Now I hope that this statement looks out of order to you. It's backwards, so I want you to always rewrite it in the correct order, which means you need to flip everything, putting negative 5, x, and 2, and your symbols would flip as well. This is the best way to write this statement, and we're going to graph this. Negative 5, positive 2, close circles, and this and is shaded here in the middle. Final one, a little more complicated. This is an or, so I need to work 2 inequalities at once. I notice I have variables on both sides, so I'm going to bring this variable over to the left by subtracting h from each side. This would be negative 3h minus 7 is greater than 5. I'm going to add 7 to both sides, which gives me negative 3h is greater than 12. Divide by negative 3. And I get h is, I must flip my sign, less than negative 4. I'm going to write the word or so I don't forget it. In the one on the right, I begin by distributing 1/4. That would be 1/4 h plus 2 is greater than or equal to 9. I subtract 2 from each side, gives me 1/4 h is greater than or equal to 7. Divide by 1/4 on each side. Could also multiply by the reciprocal, would give me h is not less than, no need to flip the sign. H is greater than or equal to 28. Going to graph this, numbers from least to greatest on the number line. Graphing the left side first, open circle, shade to the left, close circle, shade to the right. It's your turn to practice. Please reach out with any questions you have.